Hey guys, this is Hell Hades. This is going to be another Raid Shadow Legends video. Guys, in this video, we're going to tackle books. Where do you find them? What's the best way to farm them? And is the perception that new champions needing more books a reality? Now, what I want to do is I just want to start with the patch where we got advanced missions. Advanced quests, and we finally got an additional way to get an extra book each month. And it seems like that was a blessing. It was just an additional book every month as long as you went in and did your daily quests. And then we roll on about 6 months into the future, and it feels like every champion that's been released just needs an extra 1 or 2 books compared to what they used to. That's the perception of what's going on. So before I tell you where we can get books, the easiest way, how to do it, I just want to check some of the old school champions. Let's just go in and find out what the reality is in terms of like average number of books versus new champions that are coming through. So we're going to start off and just have a look. High Elves is a good faction because they've got a lot of old timers here. A lot of the old school kind of original champions. It was already a big faction when the game started. So we've got people like Royal Guard, been around for a long time. One of the originals who needs, as an epic, 12 books. Okay. Tyrell, another one in that same camp, 4, 8, 12 books. Seems pretty consistent. Thanassel, 5, 9, 13. So 12 or 13 so far. Who else is one of the original guys? Jingle Hunter, I think. 5, 10, 14. So we're kind of ranging 12 to 14 pretty consistently on epics. Let's look at Apothecary, one of the originals as well. 8, 10, much lower. Elhain, let's look at the starter champs. 9, 13. So it looks like 10 to 13 is our kind of bandwidth at the moment. Let's look at the other starter champs. So Kale, 5, 9, 14. So it looks like 10 to 14 is the kind of the kind of number that they've run with throughout the game. Let's just consider legendaries as well, because legendaries are going to be hot topic. Eva, one of the originals, 4, 8, 12. Let's have a look at Sir Nick. Void legendary, 4, 8, 10. So it does feel like 10 to 14 is the kind of boundary they went with, and pretty much everyone fell into that. He's actually much lower, 8 books here, one of the originals. Juliana was as well. She needed more. 5, 6, 7, 13. So 13, yes, it falls into that same group. So that's where we were. Let's have a look at the champions that they're just launching right now. So the ones that came out, which I did a video about yesterday. And this is the sort of boundaries we've got now. So we've got 5, 10, 14. We've got 5, 10, 14. This is where it gets bigger. Look at this. 6, 12, 16. So we're pushing the boundaries up here. What's this? 5, 7, 10, 15, 12, 14, 15. So it looks like the average is at least at the top end of where the original champions were. So the reason why it feels like there's so many books required is because almost every champion is coming in now at the top end, or kind of just tweaking the limit up 1 or 2 more books than what we used to get. You still get the odd champion, like this one here, 6. I mean, that's still 12, still within that same boundary. This is a lower one, 10, but still at the lower end of the original. Very high here. So you can see what they've done is, although they've given us a couple of additional ways to farm books, which was great, and at the time we were like, yes, at last, thank you very much. Just in a pretty sly way, they're now pushing the boundaries of books up. And there was already a kind of meme around a couple of sisters in the game who love a good book, love a good read, which was these barbarian sisters. It was always like, well, they can be pretty good, but you have got to throw so many books into them for them to really get their value. You're talking like near over 20 books. So, yes, I feel like the problem is growing, but they've not done it in a way that's so extreme that you can properly call them out on it. It's literally like 1 or 2 books more, which is what they've given us. So all they've actually done is they've seen a problem, tried to fix the problem, then realised that that was one of their biggest sources of income, and then they've thrown it in as just an additional book or so per champion to reclaim that income that they were getting. So for me, it's pretty shady. I think it's a pretty shady way of doing it, and yeah, not great. I mean, so I'm going to kind of talk you through what I used to do before I was a content creator. Probably the biggest investment for me in the game was books. Without a doubt, before I was a content creator, there's a bigger version of this, or there was a different version of this for like $99.99. That was where I spent most of my money when I was spending in game. And it was actually one of the reasons that I decided to try and be a content creator, is that I saw that you could get a couple of books a week. And I was like, I need to cut back my spending on the game. And the best way I can do it is to find another way of earning books. And actually, I decided to give it a go, and here I am, still going. So that's worked out for me. But obviously, that's not for everyone. So what we're going to do now is just talk through the different ways, like the positive ways to get books, and then the ways that I would say be careful of, be wary of. So we're going to start with, I think the best way to get books consistently in the game is Clan Boss. And it's one of the reasons why I encourage people to build out the champions for Clan Boss as early as they can. For me, it's the single area that you should focus on the most in terms of building your teams. And it's why things like the unkillable teams are actually so popular, because on a daily basis, if you can get ultimate chests in Nightmare, you have a good chance of earning some form of book or shard, but generally you're kind of looking for books. And same with Ultra Nightmare. It's kind of your best way. So although you can't get epic books here, rare books here anymore, there's still a good chance. I didn't get any today. I did get a couple of shards though. There's still a good chance of you getting an epic book or a legendary book, or at least one of the best chances, considering you can do this every single day. A lot of the people that back in the day went around and farmed Nightmare, Ultra Nightmare Clan Boss after Ultra Nightmare Clan Boss all in the same day, that's how they acquired so many books. So Clan Boss for me is still one of the best places to go and get your books. But be aware, you can't get rare books from those higher areas of Clan Boss anymore. They've taken it out, kind of rightly so, but they haven't really replaced enough places for you to get those rare books at the same time. So next one for me is events and tournaments. So both of these are probably the most consistent way to guarantee you're going to get a book. So 750 points here on a spider tournament. You know 100% when you hit that mark, you get the book. This isn't necessarily, though, the easiest thing to do as a new player coming up. You really have to save your resources and decide when you're going to go for one. And then you push everything into that event at the time. I think the worst thing you can do with events and tournaments is to just kind of half-heartedly get to the first few levels and spend resources to get there. If you're just using your normal daily energy, fine. But if you're going to blow gems and stuff, make sure you've got enough to take yourself up to the top tiers where the books are, because these are probably the best way for you guys to do it. You see, there's almost always a book available, apart from the arena ones, which just don't really make sense. But there's always books in that type of thing, and events as well. There's almost always books. Things like the artifact event, there's really no excuse to not at least hit a rare book if you've been saving some of your silver up to coincide with these artifact events. So that's definitely one of the best places. Dungeon Divers as well. Dungeon Divers counts for campaign farming. It counts for dungeon farming. So really, there's not a lot of excuse to not get your early Steel Tome when they're available. You see here as well, this one actually goes in to be an epic at the bottom. But there's still very few legendary Steel Tomes available in any of these type of events. It's normally when you're whaling out with shards. So that's a bit of a watch out. Next one on the list is quests. And this is where you can guarantee stuff. So there's really no excuse for not doing your dailies. Daily quests, they're in there. They're easy to achieve for any player in the game. And the advanced quests, equally, even if you can't do every single advanced quest, you should be doing 5 or 6 of these, if not all of them, every day. It's the most guaranteed way to get yourself an epic and legendary book every month, and a 5-star chicken actually, which is huge. But in terms of books, this is one of the best guaranteed ways to get your epic and legendary tome every month. Now, one a month is not that much compared to how many these champions need, but it's still well worthwhile. If we was to look at a free-to-play account, or a new account, sorry, Hello Whale coming up, as a newer player, you've actually got challenges for rare tomes, and these become epic tomes on the next level. So it's definitely worth spending some time getting this stuff done. And actually, it's also pretty fun. It also keeps you on the right track in terms of your account progression. So challenges, anyone who says don't bother doing them, no, do them. Get your books. They're easy enough to do, and sometimes it's actually kind of a bit fun anyway. Missions is kind of similar to that. Now, there's not many books along the way in missions, but there are some. And again, missions are a good way to keep your account on track in terms of, are you progressing and doing the right things? So, there are books along the way, epic and rare tomes. You see at the back end here, you start to get legendary tomes as well. So it's absolutely worth your time to come and do the missions, progress through the missions. You get a legendary at the other end anyway, but even as you're going through, again, it's fun. It's something different to focus your mind on, and it just kind of gets your account tracking at the right level. One of the other things which people don't really talk about is dupe champions. Now, I've done a video on which dupes would I level up. So there's not that many champions that I would advise you level 2 of. I prefer a mixed team versus like a team of the same champions. I think when I did a video, there was like 20 that I called out that I'd absolutely try and level 2 of. People like Cold Hearts, Royal Guards, maybe someone like Arbiter if you've got 2 to go into Arena and stuff like that. But ultimately, there's not that many champions that I would level 2 of. So if I got a second Frozen Banshee, for example, or a second Grave Chill, I would probably use the second one as a book. That's your call. You do what you choose to do on that. But there's not many champions that I wouldn't use a second one as a book if I particularly want to level and progress that champion up. So again, your call, but I think it's pretty valid. There's so many people that just hold on to 10 KOs or something sitting in their vault, and it's like, why didn't you just use them as books and save your books for someone else? Another point to that is if you're going for someone like the War Maiden, if you're going for the War Maiden, I think she's in stage 10, farm enough to book her. Don't use your books. Don't be impatient. Keep farming. You have to farm anyway. You need to level your champions. So you don't have to farm anyway. Farm more War Maidens and get yourself the books. Be patient. She needs a few. It's fine. You're done. This is a long-term game, guys. You're going to need at least to book this out, the A3. After that, you can probably leave it, to be honest. But get enough to make sure you book her out as an A3 over time. And again, you don't have to do it straight away. But champions like War Maiden, champions like Armiga, if you're going to be getting him from the market or through shards, just save your time. Use the duplicates that you get as books, not books as books. There's a couple of other things which I'm going to call out, which I think there are valid ways to get books, but I think they're actually pretty expensive. So Arena, you can get book once a week from completing the Arena in Arena rewards. It's pretty easy now to get to gold 1 to 4 for most players that have been playing for like a month or two. So there's a chance to get an epic book, or it says here, there's a chance to get an epic book. There's nowhere at the moment where there's a chance to get a rare book. I don't know why they didn't add rare into this part, would have made it a lot more sense. But there's no rare opportunity in here, but there is a chance for epics. But it's only once a week. That's why Clan Boss for me is way more kind of relevant to push. And in Plat, you can get legendary books, but again, it's kind of pretty rare to get them. So I think the normal Arena at the moment, in terms of rewards, and it has been for a long time, it's just weak. It's just a weak place in the game, generally. I think it almost needs a complete overhaul in the game, generally. You've also got the 3 versus 3 Arena, where you can buy a rare skill tome. I actually don't think this is that bad value for a newer player. You can easily knock up 1,000 points in a week. and you can definitely get yourself a rare skill tome once a week if you wanted to. I don't think it's terrible value. As a newer player on my old free-to-play account, I was using energy and tomes, and I was buying fragments. But skill tomes is actually a really valid point for the rare books. When you start to talk about epics and legendaries, it feels to me like they're pretty overpriced. But it's an option. It's an option. If you can grind out these points. I'm grinding out points. I want to get a cool avatar, but I haven't seen one I like yet. But you can grind out these points. So if you can grind out the points every day, then there's no reason why you couldn't get the epic and legendary tomes. But it probably is more towards like a mid to end game player that's in silver. It's quite hard actually in 3v3 to push yourself up through the ranks. It's very different from the normal arena. But rare skill tomes feel pretty valid. And then the last place really to call out is Doom Tower. Now, I feel like they need more books as prizes in Doom Tower. We're talking about getting to level 100 on hard before anyone could get any form of legendary skill tome. And that, I mean, it's so hard to do. This is properly difficult to get to. So basically once a month. This is only a once a month thing. It's not like it's like, just reset it whenever you like. So I feel like they should be spreading legendary tomes further back, like level 30 or something on hard. And I feel like at least if someone's getting to like level 100 on normal, give them a legendary tome. There's a perception, I think, from Plarium that if you're on normal, you're using epics only and not legendaries. Give people a legendary tome. I mean, it's not even a legendary tome for like completing the whole thing on normal. It just feels like it's a bit out of sync at the moment with the rewards. But there are books available in Doom Tower. They're just not very many, and they're kind of few and far between. But I guess if you're able to compete in it, don't write it off. And then the last one is Faction Wars. Now, this is somewhere where everybody should be pushing. Everybody should be pushing your Faction Wars. Glyphs are massive in the game anyway, but this is the type of thing you can get. So plenty of rare tomes available here. And, level 120 across, what we got? 5, 10, 13 factions. So you need to get 10 points per faction. So basically you need to be getting yourself to about level 5 or 6. Once you've been playing the game for a month or so, you should be at level 5, 6 in most of these. After a couple of months for sure. So, you've got tomes and shards and stuff available here. The more you progress, the more are available. This is, for me, one of the best sources of books in the game without spending money. It's timely, don't get me wrong, it takes time to get them, but it's a consistent, you know what you have to do to get them. You know exactly where you need to be to get them, and there's actually quite a lot in there. So Faction Wars is definitely an area to focus your mind on if you're desperate for books. And the last place which I've not spoken about is the shop. Don't buy books. These packs are so over, in my opinion anyway, these packs are so overpriced. Like, I think in all the time I've played, and I've spent plenty of money on this game, I've bought one legendary tome pack once when I was desperate for a video that I was doing. That's all I've done. I have, however, bought a ton of these in the past, and compared to other packs in the game, they offer reasonable value if you're going to spend money, but that's on you. That's on you if you want to do that. But look, guys, I feel like there's an issue. We're going to keep pulling it up with Plarium. If you saw the content creator chat, it is literally like rife with us saying what is going on. You're over kind of exaggerating how many books should be on every single champion now. Sort it out. So we are pushing for that. But hopefully that video was useful in terms of like where to focus your time to be able to get the most books. I've been Hell Hades. I'll catch you later.